Yo, what's up? My name's Petrowski, and I've been AFK in this spot in Palworld for around 6 to 10 hours. You see, the last time I was actively playing online, I actually found a shiny or a lucky T-Fant, and I went ahead and caught it, and I caught a couple more around the area to eventually condense them. But I also wanted to put something to the test. You see, I seem to have this theory that in Palworld, there might be a lucky pity system. I think that if you play for X amount of hours and then log back in or come back to the game and spawn in pals in your local area, especially maybe by possibly fast traveling around the world to spawn in more pals like that, I think you might have a better chance at finding a shiny pal. Now, shiny or lucky pity systems aren't often a thing in most Pokemon games, but they are a thing in a lot of Japanese-made games, especially Gamba or Gacha games. And since Palworld was largely made by Japanese developers, it would not surprise me if something like this was present in the game. It sort of motivates and allows players to continue grinding or rolling those odds. So I'm going to do a little bit of a test. I'm going to try to AFK in the game for around 6 to 10 hours at a time, come back to the game, and then either fast travel or fly around the world for around 20 minutes. And the first test is going to start right now. So I'm going to start flying around the world, probably heading over to the closest fast travel location I have access to, which is not very close, honestly. This is just the character that I've been playing on. This is not a new character. I'm not fully resetting for this kind of test or anything like that. It's nothing super crazy. Even if I'm able to do this kind of test 5 or so times, it's not really going to give us any Pew Research level data. It's really just even testing to see if there's something to even test further on from here. This is, once again, not a video to get ironed out perfect data. It's just sort of a theory craft and sort of a preliminary test to see if there's even something worth testing further. To get proper data on something like this, you'd either have to A, get confirmation from the devs, or get tons and tons of players willing to do the same test over and over again on different worlds throughout different periods and different regions. It'd be a big to-do. Data is hard to collect, and this is just my qualifier saying that this will not be perfect data, but I do want to do a little fun test. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just start recording, travel around, and see if I can run into any shiny pals. And if I do, I'll go ahead and actually turn the audio back on, stop the time lapse, and I'll see you guys then. And just like that. No way. And just like that. Hopefully you guys can hear the shiny noise. We already found a lucky. You see, this is what I'm talking about. I have to make sure I run towards it and not away from it. I have had this happen multiple times. I'm gonna hop on my mount. If I make sure, I'm just scared to lose it. My other concern is that I've had this multiple times where I've accidentally lost it because I can't find it. Let me fly up a little, but not too high. I feel like it's down here. Oh, is that it? Within 4 minutes. This is why I wanted to do this test. I feel like there is a strong, like, I've had this happen so many times, and I haven't heard anybody else talk about this on the internet. I think that there is a strong chance that there's a pity system in Palworld, where if you AFK for 6 to 10 hours or so, come back and run around, you'll find a shiny. The developers even said the only information we have on the lucky or shiny rate is the fact that they said around 10 hours, is every 10 hours or so you should find a lucky. That's just... It's just insane how many times I've had this happen with almost all of my luckies, because I often load up my world in AFK to allow my girlfriend to play on the world. We both play on the same land world, so I often load it up, allow her to hop on, and then I just AFK while I'm working or something. This is... I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Okay, that's a crazy solid test 1. Test 1 worked incredibly. I'm going to go ahead and just AFK here for another 6 to 10 hours, and I'll see you guys then. All right, yo, what's up? Back to the testing. I'm back after my, I did sort of like a 12-hour AFK. I actually went to like a Super Bowl party and stuff. You can see in game, I'm actually starving now. Unfortunately, I ran out of food, but that's totally okay. You do not need food to find luckies or shiny pals. So I'm going to go ahead and just test it and just start my timer now and just run around the world and fast travel, similar stuff as I talked about earlier, and just see if I can find a lucky. So I'll see you guys in 20 minutes, whether or not I find one. Well, there it is. I did not get a lucky the second test, and that's a good thing. It'd be a really weird test or, you know, example of something if all of the data every single time just worked in my favor of my theory. That'd be a little strange. It's probably a good thing that sometimes this happens. And once again, does that really mean we don't get lucky or the strategy? There is no pity system. It's all out the window. It doesn't work. Absolutely not. We'll have to just keep testing. I'm going to do it a couple more times, hopefully around 5 or so, AFKing around 10 hours or so, maybe 6 to 10 in between. So that's going to be it for this little test. I might even play a little in between. I wonder if that's a factor, since the first time I did actually play the game a fair bit, and then I AFK'd for 10 hours, versus this time, I pretty much just AFK'd directly after catching the one lucky, and I didn't play very much actively, but maybe it doesn't even track that. We're not really sure. I'm going to go ahead and just AFK for the time being. I'll come back to you guys with another test. All right, I am back for test number 3. How are we doing? There was some actual physical time between this test and the last test, since I had some laptop mechanical issues. It actually broke. Thankfully, it was under warranty. I got it fixed, but because of that, there's around like a week or 2 of IRL time that was also spent between the second test and the third test, if you feel like that matters. Also, on the third test, I went ahead and closed the game after AFKing for around 10 hours or so. I closed the game, I started it back up, I reloaded the world as I'm doing now. And since I've been AFKing for so long and starving and exploring a little bit, I am going to go ahead and head back to my base really quick, just clean up my inventory, get some food, and then we'll do our 20 minutes of testing exploring. Now, since I don't want to travel too much and actually traverse the world and accidentally run into a shiny yet, I just want to see, I want to get back to my base. I'm going to go ahead and click respawn. I do play on casual, so I'm not losing any of my items on the ground or anything. This will allow me to prevent accidentally running into any shinies at the very start as I sort of regather my resources. Alright, but after getting my food and inventory sorted, I'm going to go ahead and start the timer and start traveling around and trying to find a lucky / shiny in Palworld as quick as possible. I'll be seeing you guys in 20 minutes, or less, hopefully. All right, well, there it is. The end of another 20 minutes and the end of the third test. And I'm disappointed. I really thought that there was something to this, especially with how good the first test went and just how many times off camera I've had something like this happen. I can't help but feel like I'm missing something, like I'm missing a piece of the puzzle. I haven't killed or like actually played Palworld or like gained experience on my character probably for the past 2 weeks or so. So maybe the game does judge some sort of elements of like time played plus XP plus like pals killed, pals caught, etc. into the calculations of the pity system. Maybe there isn't a pity system. Maybe it's all in my head. I don't know. I do want to keep testing. I'm going to try to actually play some Palworld between the third test and the fourth test for sure, though, to give a little bit more of a different, just see if there's a different result or different experience. But thank you guys for watching up until this point. Hopefully it's been enjoyable. Like the video if it has, and subscribe if it has. If not, feel free to dislike. I'll see you guys with test number 4. All right, I'm back for test number 4. I did go ahead and actually play the game for a couple hours off camera, obviously. Just normal, catching pals, killing pals, getting experience. Nothing too crazy, maybe for like an hour or two. I just played the game naturally to see if that matters at all. And then I went ahead and AFK'd overnight for around 8 to 9 hours. I get solid sleep. And then one other important factor is I haven't actually logged out. I have not closed the game and reopened it. That's something I usually do. We're going to not do that today. Just doing a bunch of different things to see if things influence things. And then we really can't see if those things influence things off one-off tests like this because it's just not enough data. But it's fun. It shakes things up. So let's get into it. 20 minutes starting now. I'll see you guys hopefully with a lucky today. Well, there's the timer. I wish I could sit here and show you guys a lucky, and I wish the odds were different. I wish the results were different, but the results are the results. I really thought there was something behind my theory. I really thought there was something interesting. I'll probably do one more test. I think 5 tests is a good place to call it. But I mean, I wouldn't be lying if I wasn't disappointed. Obviously, I really thought something was here, but maybe it was just all either a coincidence or all in my head or both. It sucks. I feel like there were so many times where I played Palworld where I would AFK for 8 hours, I'd come back and immediately get a lucky. Maybe these tests were just unlucky. Maybe I was just lucky during those times. It's always hard to tell with this sort of thing, with this small amount of quote-unquote data, as we've already talked about a million times. I would love to see you guys' experience with Palworld. If you've had some sort of similar situation where you've AFK'd and come back or something like that, have you had increased luck? Or for example, I've had a couple times where I either killed or lost a lucky and then immediately found a lucky very shortly after. So if you had a situation like that where you accidentally killed or accidentally lost a lucky and you got one soon after, I would love to hear you guys' stories in the comments, and they would just mean the world to me to understand. Maybe there's something here. Maybe it's all coincidence. It's probably all coincidence. I don't know. I'm going to do one last test. We'll see what happens. All right, I AFK'd on this Palworld for 8 hours overnight. Let's go ahead and log in. This will be the final test. And I actually did end up dying on the world overnight. Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't seen that happen sooner. So we did respawn at my base. I'm going to pick up some food and get ready for the 20-minute timer. All right, I went ahead and left my base so I don't accidentally start a raid. And I wanted to just kind of talk about my feelings heading into, my thoughts heading into this final test. It's a little funny because I understand at this point it's been so long since I've seen a lucky within the game that at this point I'm kind of like, oh, well, if I even get one on this test, I mean, it's just kind of about time. It's just been a long time, so I feel like this test ends up being less effective because of that. I just haven't seen a lucky, lucky pal in quite a while. So I'm at this stage where I hope I see a lucky. And part of me, half of me, if I see a lucky or final, goes, oh, maybe there is something here. Maybe there is something more to test. I don't want to run into too many encounters and fudge the result. But at the same time, part of me knows, it's just been a long time. So I don't know. Does that really count? Maybe someone would be willing to do like a much longer form test of this. And once again, I'm just excited to see comments and people's other thoughts and opinions and experiences with this sort of situation. I don't know how niche it is. I just had a lot of times where I would AFK for 8 hours to keep my server running for my friend or for my partner, and come back and just always find a lucky. It just happens so often. So if you had similar experiences, once again, comments. But I'm gonna go ahead and start the timer. Thank you guys for watching this whole video, and let's see if we can get one more test to show something. Well, there it is. Not the result that I wanted, but the 20 minutes is over. The fifth and final test is complete, and only one lucky was achieved throughout this whole process, and it was at the beginning. Now, there's a lot of things that could impact this. Maybe I could have done this on a newer character or on a newer account. I think that could have really affected things, and I think that maybe like gaining levels. I think that's something I thought about as well. Where like I was gaining a lot of levels as I would AFK and I would get these luckies. I was always gaining a ton of levels and like progressing a ton in the game while doing so. But at level 41, it's not as easy to do that, and I haven't really been playing the game as much. I've just been AFKing, so I wonder if that affected it so majorly, or it was all in my head and it was just coincidence and it just seemed to happen a lot. I don't really know. Who really knows? All I know is that Palworld is a fantastic game. Whether there's a way to manipulate to get lucky or not, I still always have a blast playing it, so you should play it too. That's it for me today. No special outro, nothing crazy. Just like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if not, that's totally okay. And subscribe for fun little game tests and video essays and just all kinds of different video gaming content, whatever I feel like doing that day. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Peace, Reno.